Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about the 5th Panzer Division. Not the one from World War II, but the actual Cold War version. There's actually no connection between these two divisions. But anyway, it was founded in the 1st of October 1956, and it was going to be a headline defense division in the Fulda Gap region. It didn't see too much action or deployment. Has no real combat history if you don't really count 5th Panzer, which, according to what I have read and looked up, there really is no connection between the two. So there is a huge gap between the formation of, the older division, which was destroyed in 1945, into this in 1956. The division served all the way in the defense of Germany until the 30th of June 2001, where it was disbanded due to budget cuts in Germany. But in general, the division was a normal Panzer division. It was comprised of Panzer Leopard 1s to Leopard 2s, had a good AA defense with the Rolands. But in general, though, there isn't too much I could read up on it. Obviously, it's really hard to find research on this topic just because 5th Panzer, the Wehrmacht version, is so prevalent in the media and reading sources. But again, obviously, this division had access to tons of Luftwaffe forces or German Air Force forces just because of the importance of the Fulda Gap. It was going to be one of the main divisions to defend the area, and it was one of the best combat divisions within the theater of the Fulda Gap. The division would be attached to the 3rd Corps, which would also have the 2nd Panzer Grenadier Division and 12th Panzer Division attached to it. So hopefully down the line we'll get those divisions as well. Also, it was in the vicinity of both the U.S. Army's 5th Corps and 7th Corps, so hopefully again we'll see even more content for those American divisions that were attached to those units. So anyway, let's go into actually the comp and the pros and the cons of the deck, and yeah, let's get into it. Actually, I'm really loving this deck. Let's go over all the tabs first, going from Lodge all the way to Air Tab. Let's talk about the pros and cons of the deck overall. So, let's go into it. Lodge-wise, first of all, what do you get? You get 3 options: supply trucks. You can obviously get these ones. These ones carry the most supply, 1750. You'll make the most supply out of these. But if you want something a little bit cheaper alternative to not, lose these, you obviously can get the 10 of these that carry 500 supply, or you can get these with 500, 500 supply, and you get 10 of them as well, but even lighter and not armored at all. I do recommend these though. You get a decent amount of them, and they carry a lot of supply, and you're not intending to keep your supply on the front line anyway to die. So, leader-wise, command vehicles, you have 3 options. You can get this little truck here. This thing takes any shots, it dies instantly. You get these though. These things will actually survive pretty darn well, and you get 3. You can get 3 cards of them if you want. So that's awesome. But you do get 4 of these per card, so note that is important as well. Moving down the line though, the infantry tab, the bread and butter. This is where I'm probably gonna get a little bit controversial about what's bad and what's good. First of all, I love these Jaeger infantry guys. They're just good in every combat zone. The Panzerfaust is really strong as well. It doesn't get as many kills as you think, but pair 1 or 2 of these guys, it will do the job. I take them unvetted, just because I kind of use them a lot in CQC as cheap infantry. Panzer Grenadiers, though, are another alternative. They're a smaller unit size, but again, I just set them up a little bit to just have that better, combat. The Panzer Grenadiers are really good as well. I do recommend them. For options of transport for the Jaegers and Panzer Grenadiers, you obviously have this little truck for these Jaegers. That's all you can get. Panzer Grenadiers, you obviously can bring them in a machine gun vehicle. Moving down the line though, for furthermore Panzer Grenadiers, you can also get the other Panzer Grenadiers. These are going to be way tinier squads. These guys will die pretty quick, but you have a good option, a variety of vehicle choices. You get the Marder 1A2 Milan, which I do recommend, but I do not recommend the Marder 1A2 alone. Why? Because you don't get that missile. You may as well actually get this one as well, because look at the stats difference. You're paying for an extra 5 points. For what? What are you paying for extra 5 points? Oh, the frontal armor. Get a little bit more armor in this thing. You may as well take this, honestly. It's 5 extra points for a tiny bit of armor that you never know can really help out in some pinchy spots. Again, I would never bring the Marder 1A2. It only comes with the autocannon. Which, why would you bring that when you can get a ground-to-ground missile that actually does really good penetration with 23? So pretty much any tank will be penetrated from this thing. You also can bring them in cheap transport if you want, but again, why would you do that? These guys are already a small squad, not really worth it. For infantry-wise, for CQC, this Pioneer squad, the Flamethrowers, are one of the most dope-ass units in the game. They annihilate everybody. They're great in CQC. Even when they run out of their flame incendiary rocket, These guys will actually mill people down in close combat. They're little submachine guns. And then for anything outside of the deck, you obviously have some variety. Here's another Pioneer Outburst. This guy's have an anti-tank rocket with an MG, which can be really good, and I do recommend these guys as well. They're pretty good in CQC. For other options too, you can get a Panzer Marauder again, just another variant of it. There's two variants. There's the Panzer M13 unit, and then there's these guys. Stat-wise, not too different. A little bit cheaper infantry squad, but comes with all the same transports as well. Another option is this different anti-tank rocket. Again, just another variety if you want to bring something different. There's some pros and cons to either one. Pioneer-wise, you can bring Pioneers Satchel Charge. They've increased the range of Satchel Charge, so they actually can be really good in CQC, especially if you pair them up with a flame unit. You also get Field Jaeger here. I don't recommend these guys at all. They're pretty trash. 4-man squad, just some machine guns, nothing great. You also got these guys. Again, no MG, no rocket. Again, just a really cheap squad, but really bad, honestly. They just get annihilated. They kind of just don't compete against anybody in any area. But that's the infantry tab. It's actually a really strong infantry tab with good choices and variety if you're feeling like it. Arty-wise, obviously, just kind of the standard stuff here. You're getting your 203 mil. This thing actually mows people down. You also get your multi-rocket, your Mars rocket launcher. This thing is great for counter battery. I do recommend it. You also can have another option here with the Lars here. This thing also fires a lot of rockets. I don't think it's as good as the Omars, but you are paying way less for it. Again, you also can bring this 155, but why bring a 155 when you could pay 10 more points for 203 mil? Again, some really weird cost choices. Also, there's some mortars here, and that's up to you. It does come with some smoke, which is nice if you really need the smoke. Tank-wise, though, this is what we've all been waiting for, and that's the Leopard 283. This thing is amazing. Goes against any tank pretty well in a 1v1 fight. T-80s are used, though you got to be really careful. Again, they have the ATGM on top of them, so they can fire a longer range before you can get up to them. The HA seems to have a little bit better armor. Well, actually, the problem with the HA is the HA will win in a 1v1 fight in max range, just being that this thing has not enough penetration to penetrate the HA's frontal armor at max range, because it has penetration 19 while the HA has 20 armor. So be careful with that. You also have less armor than an HA, so that's something to be wary of. But overall, everything else in the field, this thing just absolutely dominates. Also, you get pretty good variety of them. Card-wise, triple vet them. You get 2 of them, double vet, 4 of them, and unvetted, or just 1 vet, you get 6 of them. Also, the Jaeger 2s here are awesome as well. They're just HGM vehicles that just absolutely destroy 25 points. You can also get the other version with 22 penetration, but just a little, again, less penetration. You may as well pay extra 10 points for that extra 5 penetration, which does make a huge difference. For cheaper tanks, again, these actually are awesome. The Leopard 1s, you may think, oh, these are out of date, they're terrible. But again, they're glass cannons, 15 penetration and CQC with 80 points. No armor really, but they can just mow people down, and they're pretty fast. I do recommend them. I think they're a must-take. Both the models of them. Difference between the 2 models, I mean, one's rated poor and one's rated mediocre on unit quality, which is going to affect accuracy and morale. Other than that, though, you also can get some of these M48As. These things are trash. I do not recommend them. They're so cheap. They don't really pen much. You have to use them in CQC if you want to be able to be even somewhat effective with them. Command tanks, I do not recommend. They're paying way too much for them, and you can just buy a cheap command vehicle to do the same job. And that's all I'm saying with the tank tab. It's an awesome tank tab. It's really fun to play with, especially combined with a really fun infantry tab. Recon-wise, guys, Recon tab is awesome. You can rush people in the beginning of the game. You obviously get these Jaeger, Aufgelair. I think the Aufgelair, yeah. These guys are amazing. It's an 11-man squad, coming Panzer 5s, MG. They just do a great job. They have high morale, high accuracy. They just mow people down. If you're looking for a cheaper alternative, you can buy these guys, just an MG and a Panzer Faust. 55 points, but again, cheaper. Come with a different variety of transports if you're looking for that. All of them come in the same speed, though. It's just kind of up to you. I do actually recommend you bring them in these, because road speed is the same as this, but they're 10 points cheaper, so it's actually kind of convenient. Moving on, though, you can also get these green men. I don't know if this is a visual glitch. All these guys are not green, except one man. This man, he decided to go green for some reason. I don't know. His hands aren't green, but he's green. And these guys come with satchel charge. They just gun down people. They're a good anti-infantry squad. I think you could bring them. They're highly recommended. You also can bring a recon plane if you're looking for that. And then you can also get the Lucius with an autocannon. I don't recommend this. I think this thing's overpriced. 50 points for a thing that's probably going to die to any infantry squad that gets too close with it. So I just don't recommend it. It does have really good optics, though. So that is something to look out. AA wise, get the Roland. The Rolands are awesome. I cannot express how awesome these things are. They mow people down. There's two versions, the Roland 2 and Roland 3. And the big difference is one's radar and one's not. So this one, obviously not having the radar, so you don't have to worry about seed planes, which the Russians got a whole bunch of. But you do get this one. This one has more range, but it is radar based and will get destroyed by seeds, so be very careful. Gepards are also radar, so be very careful of that. These Gepards will mow down anything that really flies in your vicinity. Buy 2 of them and mix them in with some Rolands 2s. You'll just like shoot down any aircraft that comes over there. And even if a seed plane takes out one of your Gepards, if there's Rolands by or another Gepard nearby, then that thing will take it out, and that seed plane is significantly more in price than your Gepard. You also get some cheap missiles, the Red Eye. These things are not so good, but in good numbers they are. I do recommend vetting them up a little bit to actually get some hits in, and they're actually a fun unit to use. Helicopter wise, it's nothing to write home about, sadly, guys. Nothing to write home about. You get nothing. You get these 2 planes. They come with some ATGM plane, missiles. One comes with a little bit lesser of a missile, but again, they're pretty crap. They get shot by anything, they die instantly. But they do fire ATGMs with 24 pens, so that they can pen everything, so it's really nice. Air-wise, though, this is the fun part. You get the F4HE. These things to note, guys, you need to drop the bombs a little bit behind the enemy to get the hits, because they tend to drop in front, so be careful of that. Busters are a little bit less wide than they are with the Americans and Soviet, so be very careful of that. It's really going to kill that one tank. It's not going to kill a whole bunch of tanks around it. It has a little bit of a, spread, but not too much. And these things are really fast. They have to get really close, though. They fly right over it, so they're not dropping it from way out there to drop these clusters. They're getting nice and close. Same with the F4. You also get an F-16 seed plane if you're looking for some anti-OSHA. These things are pretty good. They can actually act as fighters as well, which is really nice, and they're fast, so I recommend these as well. You also get this weird plane. This is like, everyone's been calling it the Wargame plane. And this thing honestly drops a whole bunch of little bombs, and it will delete any type of infantry type unit in the game. It just deletes it. They're just gone. They just cease to exist. If you see a blob of infantry, you drive this thing over there, and they are gone. It's such an... It's actually like... It's less expensive than the F4, but it seems more reliable. It obviously has, I think, a little bit of less of a spread than the F4, and it won't be bombing. It won't be killing any type of vehicle. It'll just like kind of suppress them, but it won't do too much. You also get the Tornado HEs. I do not recommend these. They carry 3 bombs. It's a hit or miss in this thing. The bombs are pretty inaccurate. I don't recommend it at all. You also get an AT plane if you're looking for that. It is a really fast plane. It has 26 penetration. It will mess up vehicles, but again, really fragile, and ATGM planes seem to not do too well unless the player is being reckless and throwing up his tanks way up there without AA support. Obviously, you do get some fighters here. Again, I don't really recommend these fighters in general. They're both really bad. They're both really fragile. You may as well just rely on your AA to do the job, which is actually really amazing. Overall, guys, I think this deck is a really competitive deck. I don't think it's weak compared to the other decks, and it is so much fun. I really enjoy playing with the Leopards, the AA, and the Infantry. It's absolutely awesome. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys... Tell me what you guys think about the deck. I'm really curious what you guys think the pros and the cons are, and I'll see you guys around, and thanks for watching.